We are officially halfway through the year, and damn, where did the time go? Anyway, I'm gonna be reviewing every film slash movie and show I've seen this year so far. I'm gonna start off with the film slash movies. So the first thing I watched this year was the Shawshank Redemption. I had been putting it off for a very long time until I decided to watch it back in January, and now I understand why it's the number one rated film on IMDb. It's based on a Stephen King novel and follows Andy Dufresne, a banker who gets life in prison for the murder of his wife and her lover. A story of hardships, friendship, hope, and freedom with a number of quotable lines. One that specifically stuck with me was "Get busy living or get busy dying." Taxi Driver is a top 3 Martin Scorsese film in my opinion. I've seen almost all his films. I don't know why I was late to this one. Anyway, it's about an ex-Marine and Vietnam War veteran turned nighttime taxi driver in New York City. Trevor Sparkle, portrayed by the legendary Robert De Niro, a nuanced take on male loneliness with amazing cinematography and score. Then there was Fight Club, a David Fincher masterpiece about, yeah, you guessed it, a fight club. It uses an array of sound effects just in your ear and explores toxic masculinity, consumerism, and human psychology. I also got into some romance with the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight, spanning over a course of almost 2 decades, with each film taking place within a span of a few hours, so it feels like you're with them in real time. Them being Jesse and Celine, portrayed by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, who are on a journey of love and self discovery. The dialogue is engaging and their chemistry is just out of this world. I could literally listen to them talk all day. Anora, written and directed by Sean Baker and starring Mikey Madison, is, I guess, a romantic comedy that delves into sex work. It's a chaotic but beautiful film that won big at the Oscars. 5 awards to be exact, including Best Picture and Best Actress in a Leading Role. I think I need to watch it a couple more times before I form a real and honest opinion about it. An incredibly disturbing yet visually stunning film that is nothing like I've seen before, with a blend of genres such as dark comedy and fantasy while exploring class, sexuality, feminism, and a whole lot more. Emma Stone's generational performance is just a cherry on top. Speaking of generational performances, that's what you get from Adrian Brody as Laszlo Toth, a visionary architect that flees post-war Europe to build a life in America. It's a long watch with heavy subject matter and striking visuals. However, it's not a fun watch. Another not so fun watch is Nickel Boys, a film about 2 black American boys, Elwood and Turner, who get sent to Nickel Academy, an abusive reform school in 1960s Florida. It's shot completely in first-person POV, so you get to be in the main character's shoes in a sense. I found it unique in that sense and extremely touching. A biographical musical drama about the rise of Bob Dylan, starring Timothy Chalamet. I did not know Bro had that voice in him. The soundtrack was great, although the whole thing just feels like you're watching a documentary. Another musical drama I watch every year on Youth Day like a true South African. It follows a young black girl, Serafina, struggling for freedom during apartheid-era South Africa. A reminder of the young, brave students that came before us and fought so we could get a fair chance at education. Another South African film I watched was the Netflix comedy Meet the Kumalos, and all I can say is it's nothing you haven't seen before. The secret to enjoying it is just not expecting much, just vibe. First of all, I'm a simple man. I see Steve Carell, I press play. I see Rami Youssef, I press play. But this was a bit underwhelming. A comedy slash satire about a group of tech billionaire friends by Succession creator Jesse Armstrong. It starts off a bit slow and picks up towards the middle, but altogether just mid. Felt like a never-ending episode of TV. Another Bong Joon-ho banger, a hilarious, creepy sci-fi that also makes you think. Great performances throughout. All I needed was more Steven Yeun screen time. With this A24 production, I get all the Steven Yeun screen time I was looking for and more. A beautiful, heartfelt story about a Korean-American family that moves to a Kansas farm in search of the American dream. It teaches you about the importance of roots. We Live in Time is another A24 masterpiece with a unique structure. It's a real, emotional, raw take on love, loss, and time itself. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh were the perfect actors for this. And lastly, Sinners, the best thing I watched this year so far. A true cinematic experience from the cinematography to the performances, the soundtrack, and just overall production. A horror with a lot of layers and intention behind it. Ryan Coogler did his big one. Believe the hype. Yeah, I know that's not enough films for 6 months, but it's because of these shows that I'm about to get into right now. Now, I've never read a comic book a day in my life, but The Boys came in highly recommended and my jaw dropped from the first episode. In fact, the first few minutes. It's not your conventional superhero story. These superheroes use their powers for evil. It gives you everything from dark humor to satire to intense action and just violence. Another banger. The Penguin only has one season that had me hooked from beginning to end. Colin Farrell delivers one of the most iconic performances as an anti-hero. Watching this was like getting a peek into the making of one of the sickest men ever. The Penguin is sick in every sense of the word. My first animated series since Dragon Ball Z. I made a whole video about this. Go watch it. Another amazing show, stellar voice acting, gripping and marvelous to look at. It gets crazier and more violent and bloody as the episodes go. Okay, this is the last comic book adaptation. The Devil of Hell's Kitchen. I mean, I binged all 3 seasons and the recent one. Marvel, you made a banger. I mean, a blind lawyer that can whoop your ass. Crazy. The show is action-packed and just brutal. I watched the recent season of The White Lotus and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everything about the show is just different, plus they have the most intriguing characters on TV right now. I also watched the second season of The Last of Us and it was honestly a letdown compared to the first one. The writing sucked, but it's still one of the best video game adaptations ever, so... A chilling, emotional, limited series about a 13-year-old boy who is arrested for the murder of a young girl. All-round amazing acting and directing, with each episode filmed in one take with absolutely no cuts. The second season of More was even better than the first one. A very emotional and raw comedy series about a Palestinian refugee seeking asylum in the US. The writing is nothing short of spectacular. Another Netflix show I watched was One From Home. Go! I made a whole video about how amazing and underrated I think it is. Best show to come out of South Africa this year. Well, until... Shaka Ilembe is 2 episodes in as I record this and it's already looking like it's gonna take its rightful spot at the top. The story of the making of the great king, Shaka Zulu, told by Africans for Africans. Seth Rogen plays a dysfunctional studio head in this hilarious, well-written satire. I just wonder how much all those cameos cost. A phenomenal, intense and fast-paced medical drama about the challenges of healthcare workers in the ER. 15 episodes, 15-hour shift, it gets crazy. And last but not least, Squid Game. everyone and their mother knows about this show. So to avoid spoilers, as the last season just dropped, I'm not gonna say much. But if you live under a rock and haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor, okay? Yeah, that's it. Everything I watched in the first half of 2025. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and let me know what you're watching. Maybe you can put me on.